Good morning, everybody. This is another of my test videos to see if we sorted it out with the streaming process. So we'll do a rehearsal here. Um, so there we go. Good morning, all. Welcome to our first community broadcast. The purpose is to let the community know as to where we are at and where we are going. We'll start off by restating our mission. Then we'll talk about put it in context with something that's happening in the real world. Then we will talk about the current status of the uh, community, where it is in terms of growing, and what the next steps are. So, to repeat the mission of LifeBahn community is to help each of its members succeed in their quest to find their respective prosperity, be it financial, personal, or emotional. Could also be spiritual. It is built on the belief that while competition is a good way to succeed for a few, collaboration is a better way to succeed for the many. This is clearly evident from the fact that our current global community built on competition uh, has 1% of the people controlling over 50% of the global wealth, while the rest of the people are not doing so well. So rather than blame the 1% or the government or the leaders, none of whom seem to be capable of solving the problem, in fact, many may even be fueling it, we have decided to take charge of our own destiny and assume the responsibility for achieving the prosperity we choose to whatever level. Therefore, in the LifeBahn community, we've collaborated with each other, utilizing the best of our abilities to help the community achieve the common objective while getting compensated in proportion to our contribution towards the success of the mission and prosperity for all. So, somebody might say, wow, this sounds like communism. The fact is that this is not socialism, this is not communism, not even capitalism, but rather humanism. And those other isms, if you like, are designed to improve on humanism. We're just going to go to the basic and work on humanism. Now, if you need further proof of why the world continues to be a mess, and even though some people are doing very well, especially in countries like America and Europe, the truth is that you look around and you'll see there conflicts and wars all over the product all over the world. These conflicts are the byproducts of competition all around us. Take the most recent war in Sudan, for example. Two generals fighting for power to be able to continue to control the resources of the country for their personal gain, but in the name of the country or its people. So the generals and a few people around him, they are the ones who are, fighting with each other, competing with each other, so that those few can benefit. This is a very common syndrome throughout the world. I call this the Yertle the turtle phenomena. If you remember, Yertle the turtle is a nursery rhyme by Dr. Seuss, where a turtle in a pond, happens to get on top of a rock, and he say, hey, he sees higher than other people, other turtles. So he said, hey, I see more than everybody else. I have a bigger domain, so I'm the king of the pond. And then everybody said, okay, yeah, he can see more than what we can see. So yeah, he's the king. Then after a while, he said, hey, what I see is not enough. I need to go higher. So he asked a whole bunch of other turtles to come and lift him up. And they did, and he could see higher. And as those goes by, he kept asking more and more turtles to lift him up. And the ones below him kept telling the ones below them, because they all were getting higher and higher, right? So eventually, the ones at the bottom had fed up. They said, "Hey, everybody else is doing, very well, but are, um, we are suffering." So he complained to the turtle at the top and said, "Guys, this guy kid at the bottom, his name was Mac. He said, "Hey, you guys are all seeing all these wonderful things, and we are suffering. So, uh, can we do something about it?" And the king at the top roared and said, "No, I'm the king, and you are some lowly guy. How dare you tell me what to do? I'm seeing great things. Just shut up and do your job." Well, after a while, the Mac had enough, and he said, "You know what? I don't want to play this game," and he left. And of course, since he was at the bottom, the whole pyramid fell, and the turtle ended up in the mud with, you know, as we say, egg on his face. The moral of the story is that we focus on the guy at the top who just got there by some hook or by crook. The real issue are the people around him, what I call the enablers. It's the enablers who enable these tyrants, and we know a few of them already, such as these two generals who help the people. So if we were to not compete and the max at the bottom, we collaborated with each other, we won't have to push anybody else further. We just help each other along, and that is the fundamental principle behind our community. In our community, we have the basic principle that competition is a good way to succeed for a few, and a collaboration is a better way to succeed for the many. So it is for that reason that we have started this community, and those of us in this community are working towards each other to help us succeed. So because it is a community of these people who believe uh, in this new mindset of collaboration, it is important that we all have the same mindset and that we believe in the same things. And so the membership to this community is by invitation only. And the only people who belong to the community are those uh, who um, qualify. And in order to qualify, you need three things. You need one to be able to have the same mindset that, hey, collaboration is better than competition, number one. Number two, you must have need something that the community has to offer to you, whether it's personal prosperity, financial prosperity, or emotional prosperity, or even spiritual prosperity. If the community doesn't have anything to offer to you, then there's no point in belonging to the community. And secondly, or thirdly rather, uh, if you have, if you, the community has something that you need, then you need to be able to offer something to the community. And my view, everybody has some value. It's just a matter of being able to apply it towards the goals of the community. So it's really a simple process to qualify. If you satisfy those three conditions, you belong to the community, and we all work together to help each other succeed. And that's how this community was started. And there are a few of us who are working. And our first task is to actually build the infrastructure of the community, which is what we are in the process of doing right now. So the first step in the milestones is putting the legal framework in place and the infrastructure so that members who come in here have the necessary resources to be able to add value to the community. That's the only way the community is going to and succeed. And we're in the phase one of this, as we call it, whereby we are building the infrastructure before we start inviting other people to work together in this community. And so that's the first step. The second step is to actually build this infrastructure, not just the legal firm and the organization, which is going to run and manage this community, which is the first phase, but also the actual physical infrastructure that you need for the community to grow. We need where people can have their own little domain and manage their own resources. We need a school where people can get educated. We need a hospital or something equivalent of that, where people can get help if they need it. And we need a place where we can come together and generate value, not only just for the community, but for the community outside. And that's the phase one of this process that we're going through. Phase two obviously is going to be getting the community populated, and once we have enough people working together generating value, then the phase three is to actually monetize it and start growing the community, both in terms of any of these asperities that we talked about. So that's our phase one, phase two, and phase three. We are, as I said, in the phase one of this situation. And week by week, we're going to have um, this broadcast where we will update everybody as to where we are at. In terms of the specifics of the community, we have uh, a project going on to actually build the virtual community, the infrastructure, and that really is a key phase before we move on to the next growth phase. Simultaneously, we are finalizing this broadcasting mechanism so that people can stay informed as to what we are doing. So if we are all on the same page, then we work more effectively. Thirdly, simultaneously with this broadcast, we are doing a blog so that also at the same time people can be in just in general public. This streaming is for the members of the community, whereas the blog is for outside world to know what it is that we are doing. And once we have done that, then we are going to start the process. The next task on this list is to a, finalize the recruiting, or if you like, the membership process, so everybody knows exactly how this is going to work. And Francis is responsible for that part. And hopefully, the next week we will be able to you know test this mechanism to see if the invitation process works. And and if it is, then hopefully in the next broadcast, we'll be able to announce that we are going to start inviting other people, and, but before we can invite other people, the website has to have the key information people need. What is it that they need to offer? What is it that they can get out of the community, what the community has to offer to them? And that should all be on the website so that people know exactly what they're getting involved into. Again, this is a collaborative effort. It's not like we're trying to make money. People don't have to pay anything to join. And once they join, then they all work together, hopefully towards the prosperity of everybody else. So, again, welcome to the community. Thank you for your time. And next week, we'll hopefully have a better progress. Thanks. Bye. Hey, Francis. All right. So this didn't go very well. It took me a while to figure out how this thing works. Um, and maybe when I scheduled it, I I